Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors, ales and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakims out there in the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Brakatam. Just had to make sure it's working, different computer. But hopefully this all works correctly as I try to get things started. And, well, another lesson, another brother put out. Got a little advertisement there that I don't want. Alright, try to get this to play.
Alright, Shalom. Tohu Imla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to Apostle El's Great Millstone, Shalom, Sahuf Alek. This is Buddy Call from the GMS Cleveland Camp, a little bit of lesson. This is going to be another uplifting, man. This brother Menatazai Ben Young, the brother, he been faithfully making the Lord, man. The Lord got the Spirit on him, heavy on him. He been faithfully making these edits for years, man. Okay, the kingdom, Jake and the kingdom, the heathen going to captivity, the glory, the gold, the palaces. And, with this AI, the Lord got him going even crazier. And I said to the Spirit, I had a conversation with brothers, believe the Spirit of the Lord is allowing the kingdom to be more clear with these edits that the Spirit's on him. Brother, not like when Young at San Francisco camp, the Elder Ashiar out there in North Carolina, the brothers making the edits. They would say they've been making the edits, but like saying at first it was kind of, it was cool, it was heavy, but it was all we had. But now with this AI, man, it's been making slacking. I'm excited, it's being made even more clear. And I'm just going to go and play this video and start with this precept though, because the kingdom is coming, man. The Lord is truly going to wipe away all our tears, man. He can wipe away the tears of his people. This is Zechariah 10:6. It says, "And I will strengthen the house of Judah, the southern kingdom, and I will save the house of Joseph, the northern kingdom." Both northern and southern kingdoms coming to the kingdom, man. Right? It says, "And I will bring them again to place them. We get our land back. For I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off." So when the Lord delivers us, when our Lord Yahweh Shai returns, He gives the elected new bodies. He puts the heathen in slavery and the heathen nations that afflicted us, that look down upon us, that treat us like shit, and forces them to build our kingdom for us. We're gonna, man, it's gonna be like the Lord. It's gonna be like we were never even in captivity. It's gonna feel like we were never even enslaved. It's like right now, even right now, bro, it's heavy. Right now, we're in the truth. We believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, but being out in this world and looking at majority of our people who have no faith, looking at the heathen and their wicked rulership, it feels like we would never. It feels like the Lord was never with us. It feels like we were never even in power. The whole earth can't remember a time when we were in power. Okay, and the Lord was dealing with us, man. So it's gonna be the opposite of the kingdom. It's gonna be like the way how our rule system gonna be set up and how we're gonna be immortal and it's 100% perfect and how heavy, how much Shai gonna be dealing with us, how we're gonna be at peace with the animals, like you're gonna see our children be playing with lions and stuff. It's gonna feel like we're never even in captivity, man. As hard as that is to
And Esau won't be able to hurt the animals like he does
now. It says, "And they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am Yahweh Shai, their God, and will hear them." So the Lord is hearing us right now. "And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as through wine. Yeah, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in the Lord," man. So go ahead and play this, man.
Easy, Baba. The Father has given us the kingdom. Everything the light touches is our kingdom. Welcome to the kingdom. Our kingdom will be out of this world.
Man, look at this, bro. And look at all these little gardens, man. I said, look at the woman, like, bro, the way the Israelite women gonna look, they're gonna be like, all your women gonna be exactly how you like your woman, of many varieties and flavors concerning the Israelite woman, even the heathen women, concubines, talking about the Israelite women, you know what I'm saying, our immortal wives, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be, bro, smelling good, looking good, behaving good, like, bro, the Lord's getting ready to pour upon us so many blessings, man. That's why I said, that's why I did that lesson. Was it like a week ago? Not even last Friday, I believe. Last Friday, about a week ago, about the Lord's faithful woman. You know what I'm saying? That's why brothers just stay down until you come up. All right, till we come up, man. Just stay down because how about Shai? It's like you would if you had a loyal woman that was with you during the hard times, and you came up and came to abundance. You would bless her with everything. And that's exactly what the Lord's gonna do for his elect, man. So we get ready to be blessed, man. But even the 2/3 who come back, man, we get ready to be blessed as a nation, right? So you see these videos heavy, man. You got children flying around. I'm gonna keep letting them play, man. But it's beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Man, let me get a precept. Isaiah 54 chapter, right? This is Isaiah 54. In verse 4, it says, "Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. But thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. So we ain't gonna remember, like I said, we ain't gonna remember this time. We gonna remember, but it's not gonna be fresh on the mind. We ain't gonna be, the emotions aren't gonna be as intense when we're in this lowest state, being humiliated, not having what we want, being in captivity, right, being oppressed. All right, we ain't gonna be, this ain't gonna be the narrative in the earth anymore. All right, all the heathen talking shit. We gonna be at rest, man. Our rest, man. The heathen, you'll see later in the clip, man. The heathen, they gonna be in captivity. It says, "For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, in a white slack." I'm sorry, I missed verse 5. "For thy maker is thine husband, Yahweh of hosts is his name, and thy redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called." Right? How about you gonna redeem us, man? "For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused, saith thy God." Right? We got put away from the day's wickedness, right? "For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer." Right? Because in the eyes of the immortal Father, right, these centuries and thousands of years, Jacob in the lowest state has been a small moment compared to the days of eternity. That's in Scripture as well. Talk about as the sand of the sea, as the drops of rain, so are the 1,000 years to the days of eternity, man. So again, we got eternity to look forward to. Okay, for eternity, everything is going to be going our way. We're going to have not one single curse, not one single bad day. Every single day is going to be just, man, talking about everything going perfect every day for eternity, man. We got eternity to look forward to, man. I'm probably going to title this lesson that. We have eternity to look forward to, man. All right? It says, verse 9, it says, "For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee." So Lord had really sworn by his own name. I was going to say, well, the Most High, Yahweh, we can swear none higher. He swore on himself, right? He swore that he's never going to be angry with us ever again once we get the kingdom, right? "For the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. Neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith Yahweh that hath mercy on thee. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires," man. So that's going to the building of our kingdom, man. Okay, we haven't been comforted, we've been in and out of captivity. Okay, from this nation to nation, is having their turn to afflict us, man. Right? We'll say he's gonna lay our stones with fair colors, like you see it in this clip, man. In the video, the spirit, how the brother put together, man. Literally, bro, our palaces really made all these precious things, man. It says, "And I will make thy widows of agates, and thy gates of carbunacles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression." For see, we're going to be far from oppression. We ain't going to be oppressed no more. Because all the Israelite men, we're going to be turned to God, man. We're going to rule over the earth, man. No heathen man going to be able to do anything with us, right? It said, "Thou shalt be far from oppression, but thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall," yeah, that's the point in the chapter. So the last 3 verses going something else. But again, going to this.
Will be out of this world.
Master, have mercy on me. Please have mercy.
The Lord shall send forth thy strength and rod. Believe thou, if least thy enemies. Thy people shall be willing in thy power. And the beauties of holiness from the womb of morning. Thou hast
It's hard, you got the three classifications of the tribes. And of course, you got the Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, but you got again when we break down the so-called Negroes, the two Native Americans. You got the so-called Negro tribes, so-called Latin tribes, so-called Native American tribes. You see all three gathered together in unity. That is a very heavy visual right there. In power, unified in power, man, under the right thing, under the banner of Yahweh Shem shine our glory, right? They got their crowns on. That's hard, bro. I fuck with that. Like I said, I fuck with the feather crown. That's hard, bro. You know, because every tribe, we got our own little flavor, man. And so in the kingdom, we're going to be able to fully, embrace that and show that flavor in wealth and prosperity.
Our kingdom will be out of this world.
Master, have mercy on me.
Like I said, having Esau in slavery, right? So like I said, I'm not going to play this in 8 minutes, so I'm about to wrap it up. But man, let's say they're going to pop up. We're going to play the last part. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The heathen captivity, the mind's working while we in our prosperity, man. So I say we got a lot to look forward to, man. It's like this whole video is fire, but man, we get ready to, man, get brought to a higher state, man. So hey, I can keep the faith, endure. Gotta give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Shah B'Shem Kakodash. Double honor to the great millstone. Shalom to Hope Leg, man. The Bible ball, call me on Sherrod. Shalom.
So, like everything else, Esau's got a lot to pay for everything that he done to us, right? And so, got Brother Yahweh here, man. We activate because our mind has been stirred up. And play this video in its entirety as well. Hopefully this has been playing correctly. As again, this is different. It's a laptop with a little speaker, but just trying to get everything into perspective here. Oh, here it is.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Bahah, Rakakadash. Hey, honors be to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone, hey, and the elect elders that's pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. All right, here, 2026, hey, another step closer to the kingdom of heaven, which we pray and hope that the Most High Yahweh, like Yahweh Shah, hey, bring all these prophets to pass, hey, in the time that we're living in, all right, especially these times, and as your brothers and your sisters see the title of the lesson, right, which reads, we are active because our pure minds have been stirred up. All right, and I was meditating on that. All right, the scripture speaks about in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. Right, the first verse, it speaks about pure minds. Right, what the Lord have done with the minds of the elect, it stirred them up. It stirred us up to how? In a way of remembrance. All right, that we once knew what? Knew the truth. All right, and as our pure minds have been stirred up, that causes us to get activated. That causes us to get active. All right, like, see, we're active, man. And how a man of the Lord, all right, supposed to be. Once his mind had been stirred up, his pure mind, all right, his pure mind had been stirred up, he's supposed to get active, right? And that's what you preaching this gospel, all right? And you grow by the sincere milk thereof, all right? As you grow, all right, you understand the scriptures, all right, you're converted, and now you're supposed to what? Strengthen your brethren. Come out here and teach. That's you being active, all right? That's you being active, man. That's what the Lord got the elect, all right? The elect is being stirred up. And the elect is being active, right? Because we at the end, man, the elect is on fire, and they activated. That's all because we're coming back to who we are. We then came back to who we are as a people, all right? Worshiping our power, Yahweh, and the Son, Yahweh Shah, right? The truth is sincerity. And the Lord has blessed us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Giving us the Holy Spirit to go out and preach His word, right? And, hey, brothers are on fire. And that's all because the Lord has stirred up your pure minds in a way of remembrance. That you once knew this, once knew what? Knew the truth. You know, being brought back to remembrance of this truth. And that caused the truth, right, to, that caused the Lord to tap into your pineal gland, or your third eye, so to speak. And that caused you to be activated, be awakened. You know, and we're quickened. That scripture speaks about being quickened by the word. So the Lord have quickened us. That's another way of saying being activated. You know, He have activated us, man. And guess what? You devils can't unactivate us. You can't do nothing to turn the charges that the elect is hyped up on. You can't turn that down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Because while we're activated, I don't write this out, we have that number, you know. And shalom to my brothers, my brother Angel Padilla, my brother Ywanathan, hey, Yahweh Shema Shah brought it down, and brought the thumb to in your household, Malaki. Shalom. You know, hey, we're activated, brothers, so we continue to stay active. Continue to stay active, you know. Continue to be charged up in the spirit. Because why? The Lord has stirred up your minds to do so. Your pure minds, man. You know, your pure minds. Hey, everything is pure to those that are pure-hearted, you know, roughly paraphrase. Let the pure be pure, so to speak, this way. You know, let those that are pure continue to be pure, man, and be activated, let your light shine before men, so they can glorify the Father which is in heaven. All right, so you continue to do a mighty work, man. Continue to do the marvelous work of Yahweh Shema Shah, man. Right, and it's only going to get active. The Lord is only going to elevate you, you know. So, you know, I just want to hit the button, do a quick exhortation to you brothers, you know, that's out here pushing His word. And you brothers that's coming into the truth, you know, and the Lord gave you the spirit to go out here and push His word. And always remember, hey, the Lord has stirred up your pure minds in a way that remembers you and tell who you are and take advantage of that, you know, take advantage of that. Get active.
Yeah, because there's coming a time when we won't be able to do this freely anymore.
Hey, with that, I can Makwaf. You know, I pray that this lesson was not only edifying but comforting and exhorting to you brothers, as you sisters, and to listen and learn, another walk and talk. So with that, let me see.
Yep, and so like everything else, so there's a time when we won't be able to do this. And that time is accelerating, man. You know, they already have these laws into effect. You know that they're going to try to ban the Bible, that they already got this in the legislature. And then you got ISIS, you know, he's coming down on you tribes, man. ISIS roundup of Haitian migrants, which is talking about the tribe of Levi. It's all started with complaints from residents in Springfield, aka racist Edomites, that a surge of Haitians was causing chaos and an odd disappearance of local wildfire and pets. So, they're accusing them of, causing wildfires and stealing pets. City officials and local companies were shipping the migrants in the thousands and giving them jobs. That's bullshit. That's Republican horse shit. Just to stir up the hate, right? The surge started after 2021 by the Biden administration. Yep, here comes Trump. With a few years, Springs' Haitian population grew from a couple thousand to over 15,000. Really? I think that's horse shit. But nonetheless, though, just to stir everything up. So here we go. Here's some racist Edomites really pissed off because it's a takeover. Actually, I think that these are people that are actually protesting ISIS, Slovakia. Actually, they're protesting ISIS.
Your neighbor of ours is illegal. ICE doesn't speak for the people. Your neighbor of ours is
Yep,
illegal.
stop ISIS terror.
Yeah, some of them, they are diabetic. I think they are afraid for that, not to give them some type of scratch or whatever, because it will be so difficult for any type of injury that they get from here to heal. And it's irritating. Some of them feel that they get some type of electric shock from it. They feel it from time to time. Some of them say that it's difficult for them to move around with it. And the other thing is the type of stereotype that creates around them. So folks believes that. I got my little cousin. He came here last Wednesday, I believe. And when he got home, he was so ashamed to look at me with that thing and on his feet.
Yep,
it's just
racist fucking
embarrassing
Edomites.
just to see folks with it. And they just believe that they don't want to go out because they think that folks will believe that they are criminals. So many fathers and mothers do not want their kids to see it on them. So it's really it impacts folks' life on a daily basis, some way or another.
Or any of the folks you work with, do they have appointments today?
I have some. We have some.
These
folks down
devils
the way
coming
now
down
coming.
really
So
hard on you
we are
tribes,
helping with transportation and interpretation.
How much more
So
once IDF
we do
officially
that
takes
every
over?
day from Monday through to Sunday, and we have some folks that are on their way now coming here today.
Do you know?
So, you get it, right? And here we go. Iran mocks Trump's Hormuz ambitions as fanciful delusions, right? Because Trump is saying that he controls the state, and they already know how delusional he is, right? The U.S. president has threatened to declare the waterway a territory of his country after defeating the Islamic Republic. This is how fucking conceited he is. The strait will remain under Tehran's control, the Iranian Foreign Ministry has said, calling on D.C. to stop indulging in delusions. The statement comes in response to Trump saying he would soon declare the sea passage a territory of the U.S. So, yeah, he's even going further. And Iran's getting prepared because they know that they're about to start up another fight. That a bigger attack is on its way. So I'm going to get that video. And you wouldn't hear about this from the mainstream. So here's what the true breakdown is going on with the war, right? Little snippet.
When U.S. President Donald Trump launched his attack on Iran alongside Israel, he was betting on a quick and decisive victory. At best, he expected the overthrow of the Islamic Republic. At the very least, he expected the destruction of Iran's nuclear and military capabilities, followed by what Washington could present as an honorable exit from the war.
But it never happened.
But now, Trump is entering the 6th month of the war, and those predetermined objectives are looking increasingly like a mirage, something Washington may never reach. Iran's missiles are being launched with greater force and greater precision than before. Whatever target Iran chooses, it can now strike. And despite the months of war, there's still no sign that Iran's peaceful nuclear program has been destroyed. But perhaps more importantly, Iran has now placed another card on the table, a card with enormous geostrategic weight, the Strait of Hormuz. For months, Washington has tried almost everything to restore the strait to the way it was before the war. It has threatened, it has attacked, it has imposed a blockade, it has attacked again, it has negotiated, and it has threatened to destroy Iran's infrastructure. But every time, Tehran has delivered essentially the same message. No, forget it, those days are over. The Strait of Hormuz will not simply return to the way it was before the war.
And this is from Iran Today.
The Strait of Hormuz has now become like a bone stuck in Donald Trump's throat, a symbol of what Iran portrays as America's humiliating failure. Neither through war nor through diplomacy has Washington managed to regain control of the strait from Iran. And on August 8th, Mohammad Baqir Zolqat, former secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, made Tehran's position explicit. The Strait of Hormuz will not reopen until the United States changes its behavior. But what exactly does changing its behavior mean?
That's a good question.
Zolqat explained that it means 6 things. First, never threatening Iran in any language or any form, and never insulting the beliefs and sacred values of the Iranian people. Second, permanently ending the war and aggression against Iran and Iran's allies in Lebanon, Palestine, Yemen, and Iraq. Third, lifting the naval blockade and withdrawing U.S. military forces, both naval and air, from around Iran. Fourth, fully compensating Iran for the damage caused by the 2 wars that were acts of aggression imposed on Iran. Fifth, lifting the unjust and unlawful sanctions imposed on the Iranian people. And sixth, unconditionally releasing the frozen and confiscated assets belonging to the Iranian people. Taken together, these demands form the main points of what became known as the Islamabad Memorandum, a memorandum signed by the presidents of Iran and the United States. Mr. Saeed Ajorlu, a member of Iran's negotiating team's media committee. He said that Washington tried to bypass the route determined by Iran right after it signed the MOU, a flagrant violation.
وقتی رفت به سمت اجرا در اون حدود 1 ماهی که داشت تفاهم اجرا شد اینها نقض کردن.
When the Islamabad Memorandum moved into the implementation phase, the Americans violated its terms during that 1-month period. Our commitment was to restore maritime traffic through the strait to its previous conditions after a certain period, under arrangements that we ourselves would determine. In response to the U.S. violation and the establishment of the Southern Corridor, we took military action and restored traffic to the conditions that existed before the memorandum.
The understanding was supposed to create a path toward the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and beyond that, broader peace negotiations between Tehran and Washington. But less than 3 weeks after it was signed, Trump declared the agreement over and called for the war to resume.
And
what followed was a harsh confrontation with the realities of war.
He had the audacity to call them scum. And the only
inside the American military establishment
the
concerned with growing,
pedophile in power.
U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, has privately said in recent weeks that the United States needs an off-ramp from the war with Iran. His assessment was that the military options currently under consideration could backfire, and that airstrikes alone were unlikely to accomplish the administration's goals. At the same time, U.S. officials were warning of the Pentagon funding crunch and extreme shortages of munitions, developments that pushed President Donald Trump into a clash with War Secretary Pete Hegseth. Mr. Mohammad Qaderi, an expert on international affairs.
بعد از در واقع تغییر الگوی بازدارندگی که ایران در جریان این 17 روز دوم
Iran's recent shift in its deterrence strategy has led the Americans to conclude that Iran is no longer going to respond on the basis of simple tit-for-tat approach. The scale and scope of its responses will be far greater. What happened in the Suez Canal also sent a clear message. Iran's reach extends beyond the Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb. It has demonstrated that it is capable of challenging vessels attempting to supply U.S. military bases or those seeking to violate international law in order to carry out or facilitate terrorist operations. Iran has the capability to reach this area as well and prevent such activities.
Yep. And Iran is proved to have the upper hand. And that's just one thing that nobody's ever seen before, the likes of which no one's ever seen before. You've heard that rhetoric come from Trump, but pretty much though, the week has shown the United States the likes of which it's never seen before. And that is to be able to stand up to them, to just pretty much say, nope, you're going to hear our demands, or nothing's going to happen. U.S. sending fresh aircraft carrier to West Asia amid reports of multiple sailors jumping overboard. And this is dealing with the Lincoln, which recently happened. The aircraft carrier USS Washington is preparing to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln as part of a scheduled Middle East deployment. Wall Street reported on Thursday news that comes as families of military personnel aboard the Lincoln have reported that sailors have attempted to jump overboard, but of course Trump said they ain't been out there long enough. You know, so like, wah. You joined the military, you got yourself involved, and now you're getting what you deserve. You're going to die in Iran. Or you're going to die fighting Iran. But they tried to go overboard, but obviously it didn't work. Iran Army Chief announces $30,000 bounty for killing or capturing U.S. troops. So pretty much even more incentive, as if they didn't already want to do that to avenge their leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei. As if they didn't want to do that just for the right to survive, they got even more incentive. Iran's Army Commander-in-Chief, Major General Hatami, has announced a financial reward for anyone who kills or captures an aggressive U.S. soldier, declaring that the era of American military presence in the Persian Gulf is permanently over. So, like everything else, though, under his plan, any individual who kills or captures a U.S. soldier and hands him over to the authorities will receive a reward of 5 billion tamans, approximately $30,000. So, pretty much, though, they can collect bounties. Anyone can collect bounties. Sounds like a good game there, right? When you got these terrorists, these U.S. terrorists threatening to invade their homeland. So, morale is higher. Get these fucking bastards that don't belong here. Iran's armed forces vow no retreat until complete defeat of the U.S. and Israeli state, aka the Zionists. General Staff of Armed Forces has vowed not to back down until securing the country's legitimate rights and delivering a complete defeat to the aggressors, the United States and the Israeli regime in the region. So, pretty much so. They're more determined to fight. Agility versus death. How the Mecca Pact stacks up against United Arab Emirates Israeli alliance. So like everything else though, there's a new pact. And eventually Russia's going to get involved with this. You're seeing all these places form together, right? You're seeing that this Mecca Pact is getting stronger. Well, guess what? Russia's going to eventually get involved. Israeli state and United Arab Emirates have transactional ties based on military and intelligence sharing, but the Mecca Pact has political depth. Yeah. Those are two major players. And they have everything to do with Syria, because Saudi Arabia and Turkey have everything to do with the current government in Syria, which is why you're starting to see Jelani sort of not want to, even though he's agreed for the Israeli state to take over Syria. I mean, why would he want to fight that? But nonetheless, though, you'll see that eventually they're going to fight over all this, if they're not enough already. This summer, a senior United Arab Emirates diplomat, Nusaba, held consultations with a U.S. ally in Europe. The meeting was unremarkable but informative because of the impression the European countries' officials walked away with. United Arab Emirates is totally aligned with the Israeli state. It's crystal clear that its partnership has no limits, a European official was telling Middle East Eye. So, like everything else, so they got a better pact, you know, which is Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey, who let alone whether they can back each other up in a hot conflict. You know, I think they could back each other. But you got a main backer that's going to be coming up soon. And we'll see Putin play his role, because that's what the prophecy says. Egypt could join Mecca Defense Pact, Turkey's Erdogan says. Yeah, so like everything else, though, you just you're seeing this get longer, right? If Egypt joins, then that's 4 countries already. You see a newer union coming in, bypassing the Israeli, the Greater Israel Project. And it's going to get bigger. Turkish president has expressed optimism that Egypt could join the nascent defense alliance with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Egypt could join military alliance recently formed by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Turkish President Erdogan said a week after the 3 countries signed a defense agreement that some analysts have linked to an Arab NATO. Yeah, and you've been hearing about this Arab NATO, which is going to get bigger. Right now you got 3 main countries, but eventually more. And here we go! Russia. Now you starting to get it, right? Russia's starting to show up. Why Syria's new rulers still need Russia? Of course they need Russia. Because guess what? They know that their deal with the Israeli state ain't going to last long. Food, oil, military, know-how, and education links keep Moscow useful to Damascus, even as it courts the West, Turkey, and the Gulf. But Turkey's also an ally with Russia. See how this all works out? On August 9, after roughly 18 months of negotiations, Russia and Syria agreed on a new memorandum defining the future framework for the use of facilities of the Russian military bases in Tartus and Haimelim. Almost simultaneously, a delegation from Roslevskaya, the Russian federal agency responsible for foreign, humanitarian, and cultural cooperation, delegation held talks with Syrian officials. And preparations were announced for reopening the Russian House Cultural Exchange Center in Damascus. Military cooperation is being reformulated rather than dismantled. So like everything else, though, they're aligning themselves also with Russia. So we're going to see a lot pick up here. Syria's Gaza on steroids. Israeli minister says war with Damascus is absolute certainty. Why? Because they're talking to Russia. So, could this be what causes that, great and terrible day of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, when Damascus ceases and World War III kicks off? Syria is Gaza on steroids, and that is the next war with absolute certainty. There's no way of avoiding it, and this is coming from the Israelis. So we'll play a little bit of this.
כמו שאמר אייזנקוט בכנס ב-INSS, אני רואה במשטר החדש בסוריה הזדמנות. ואני אומר, סליחה, כל מי שלמד 3 שיעורים בתואר ראשון במזרח תיכון על תנועת האחים המוסלמים, על התנועות של הג'יהאד העולמי, על התנועה הסלאפית, ומבין עם מי יש לו עסק, לא רואה בג'ולני שום הזדמנות. הוא רואה בו את האויב הבא של מדינת ישראל. יחיא סינואר עם 2 נמלי ים ומעצמה בגבו. זו עזה על סטרואידים וזו המלחמה הבאה. בוודאות מוחלטת. אין מנוס מהדבר הזה.
עמיחי, אתה...
So there you go, man. It's like steroids, right? Israeli minister says war with Damascus is absolute certainty. So, that's a future war. Saudi-linked targets come under fresh heavy strikes by Yemen's armed forces. Yemen's armed forces are now subject to Saudi Arabia-linked targets to fresh heavy strikes. The armed forces were able to target concentrations and weapons belonging to the Saudi army. Brigadier General Shai said in a statement on Friday. Additionally, the servicemen targeted warships belonging to its Riyadh tools and mercenaries in the Mocha area under a large number of ballistic missiles, he added, referring to southwestern Yemeni port city. The strike was precise, and the operation resulted in the destruction of the boats and weapons and the death and injury of dozens among the Saudi enemies' concentrations. So, like everything else, Houthis are kicking ass for that small little area in Yemen. They're kicking their ass big time. They destroyed all their assets and any further threat. And like everything else, though, Trump's little bluff here, Iran's already calling it out. Iran promises hundreds of strikes across Syria if Damascus intervenes in Lebanon. It's another reason why Jelani really does not want to get involved with it. The Iranian promise repeatedly thwarted a U.S. plan to use Syria's extremist-led forces to fight Hezbollah in Lebanon, aka Hayat al-Sham government, or better known as ISIS. Well, that's why Jelani said no, right there. They don't want to fight Iran. I mean, Iran is winning. Tehran warned Damascus that if Syrian terrorists intervene in Lebanon against Hezbollah, Iran will strike hundreds of targets across Syria using missiles and drones, including the presidential palace. Following Iran's warning, Syria softened its rhetoric towards Hezbollah and relayed messages to Tehran and Beirut claiming it has no intention of intervening military action in Lebanon. So basically, they got them to shut their fucking hole. And that's just it, man. Esau's getting punched in the face in every way possible. So I got one more here before I close this out. And hopefully you've been able to hear my voice on this. So eventually Russia is going to come forth. And we can see that formation there. That the only one, to really bring up this Islamic NATO, if you will, is when Russia gets involved. And it tells you right here in Ezekiel chapter 38, this is the AMP version, Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 3, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will turn you around and put hooks into your jaws and bring you out, and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them magnificently clothed in full armor, a great horde with buckler and large shield, all of them wielding swords. All of the heavy weaponry and military of Russia. Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all its troops, aka Turkey. Bet Togarmah from the north ports and of the north and all its troops, many people be with you. You, Gog, be prepared. Prepare yourself, you and all your hordes that are assembled around you, and be a guard and look out for them. So like everything else, though, Russia's going to be leading this war against the U.S. and its allies, because inevitably they're not going to let Iran fall. After many days you'll be summoned for service in the latter years. Yeah, which basically means that all the troops are going to come together. You will come into the land that is restored from the ravages of the sword, where people have gathered out of many nations to the mountains of Israel, which have been continual wasteland. But its people were brought out of the nations that are living securely, all of them, aka the Israeli state. You're going to come up against the Zionists that control the Israeli state, the bastards dwelling in Ashdod. You will go up against them and come like a storm. You will be like a cloud covering the land, you and all your troops and many people with you. So eventually they're going to defeat the Israelis in the land. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it will come about on that day that thoughts will come into your mind, you will devise an evil plan. And you will say, I will go up against the open country. I will come against those who are at rest and peaceful, who live securely, all of them living without wells and having neither bars nor gates. And that is when they come up against those Israelis. To take a spoil and seize plunder, to turn the hand against the ruins which are now inhabited, and against the people who are gathered out of the nations, who acquire cattle and goods, who live at the center of the world. So like everything else, though, Gog and Magog, Russia is going to be a key player. As Babylon is destroyed, they're also going to be in the, as you would say, the Holy Land, the Israeli state. But like everything else, though, Yahushua and the angels are going to destroy Gog and its armies. And the land of Magog, for that matter. In other words, he's going to take the crowns from all the rulers. And that kingdom is coming soon. But before this war fully breaks out, they got to usher in that new world order. And that new world order requires everyone to receive a micro-C-hip in their hand or forehead, right? And that no man may buy or sell save he that has the mark. And we know what that mark is. That's the RFID implant that's going to come via martial law and all the other things that are planned, just before this war breaks out. But we can see all these players coming in. So hopefully it's all been edifying. Like I said, I'm on a new computer, so hopefully it's all turned out. Then I will say Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, Wal Abal Babal. Bracha Tam, Jehovah Elect, Shalom.